My name is Anthony, and I'll be drawing for you.
Hey, planet Earth, we meet again. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is where you're from, thank you for joining me. Welcome to Anthony Draws For You, the channel where no idea is too crazy. Alright, so real talk for a second. My work has been a little bit on the stiff side lately, or at least it's felt that way to me. And I'll tell you exactly why that is. It's because I am sorely out of practice on the one thing that is, in my opinion, the most important exercise for any growing artist. You guessed it. Gesture drawing. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's been a couple of weeks since I've actually done some serious, not even serious gesture drawing, just like fun gesture drawing. Just sitting down, putting some good music on and saying, you know what, I feel like doing some gesture drawing. The key component of gesture drawing is movement. So it's gotta be rhythmic, it's gotta be loose, you've gotta be in a really bendy, flexible state of mind. Your brain has gotta be like a piece of gum. If it's cold, it's gonna break. The thing is, you gotta warm it up and you gotta stretch it, so that when you go to pull ideas from it, it don't just break in half. You get the maximum effect for your effort. But it's just like going to the gym. If you stop exercising, you start to lose progress. And it doesn't matter how much progress you make, there is no finish. There is no, like, you don't reach a point where you say, okay, this is good enough. Good enough needs to be maintained. If you don't keep getting better, you start to get a little worse. If you get to a place where you're sort of complacent, that's when you start to hit roadblocks and you wonder, drawing the same thing over and over, it's like, why can't I draw this? I've done this like a billion times before. That's like if you were to stop exercising and then all of a sudden start it back up again and you go to lift, you're like, why can't I lift this thing? I lifted this like 3 weeks ago. It's not 3 weeks ago anymore. It's now, and you haven't been here for a while. You gotta get back into the rhythm. So I'd like to take this opportunity to get my mojo back a little bit and do a little bit of gesture drawing to regain a little bit of flexibility. And I'll also be giving you guys some tips and tricks along the way. Just a reminder before we get started, my services are available for anybody who needs it, individuals and businesses alike. Whether you're a company that needs new logos, rebranding, if you want a custom t-shirt as an anniversary gift for your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend, my commissions list is currently open for fans of cartoons and comic books. Surfboards, skateboards, snowboards, any of the above. Give me a surface, I'll give you my A game. Business out of the way. Let's get on to the fun stuff. All right, homies and homettes, let's take it to the paper. All right, so I'm coming to the table rusty. I don't have anything jumping out at me immediately, so what I usually do in moments like this, I just turn to yoga poses. I'll just go to Google image search and I'll type in yoga poses, and whatever comes up, I just start drawing them. So that's what I'm gonna do right now, and let's begin. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice is that these are not at all refined drawings. Gestures are just that. Quick motions of your hand where you're not drawing a figure, you're creating motion. You get the major motions of the pose with as few lines as possible. And even here, I'm using too many lines because, as I mentioned several times before, I'm out of practice. So this is the quote-unquote normal way to do this. And see, that's the thing about me, I sort of reject normal a lot, so you'll see in a little bit later, I'll step it up and I'll show you how I take it a step further in my own little chaotic version of gesture drawing. What usually helps is by identifying the torso first, because if you can get the core of the body, then you can get everything else. And the first thing I'll do is I'll identify what are the 2 points on this figure that are the furthest away from each other. So if you got ones where like the left foot is all the way on one side and the body is reaching out where the right hand is all the way on the other side, then those are your 2 points. Just draw a straight line from one to the other. So your first line should always be the biggest. I kind of break that rule a couple of times, you'll probably see here. And again, this is just practice. Gestures are not supposed to be good drawings. They're supposed to be fluid. Yeah, and everybody knows child's pose is hashtag secret nap pose. So this is basic gesture. And for me though, what I like to do is a little bit different. I'm a fan of messy pencils. Well, in this case it's a marker, so you can see it more clearly on camera. But I'm a big fan of the George Bridgman method, which is not everybody's favorite necessarily, but what I like about it is that it allows a bigger margin of error, and it gives you a little bit more of a cushion and more of elbow room for that indecisiveness that you might feel when you're experimenting. All right, so what I like to do is I'll leave a teeny tiny gap between my pen and the paper. So with the pen hovering, I'll keep my hand moving the whole time and only occasionally drop the pen to the paper when I have a moment of clarity, when what's in my mind can be clearly seen on the page. And with every mark, I sort of expose more of the picture that I'm seeing in my head. So this kind of exercise will reinforce your ability to treat it less like you're drawing and creating an image and more like you're discovering something, like you're doing archaeology. You're uncovering what you already see on the page. And what you're doing is you're erasing the white off of the paper. So I'll leave this drawing at normal speed for a little while just to show you how much my hand is moving as I'm doing it. And I'll speed it up in just a minute, but I just want to give you an idea of how much movement is going on even when no lines are being drawn. That's a habit that I think is really helpful, is that the more that your hand is moving, the less your concentration is broken from the page. It sort of anchors you into the image that you're trying to put together, or I should say you're trying to uncover. So I threw down a couple of lines of motion here, and although a little bit Spider-Man inspired, I'm going more the route of Club DJ. And again, same thing for this one. I'll leave the speed normal for a little bit, just so you can see how much the pen is actually moving even when it's not hitting the paper. And then I'll speed it up in just a second. And while I'm moving my hand, what I'm doing is I'm sort of drawing the lines in my head. I'm definitely not the first person to do this. You know, they call it ghost lines, they call it ghosting, ghosting your lines, whatever the right term is called. My version of doing that, I just sort of keep things moving at all times, and it's my way of getting sucked into the image so that no matter what's going on around me, I'm not breaking my own concentration. It's like it's cementing my mind into the paper. Ultimately, this is what this skill is about. It's not even about the drawing. It's about cementing your mind into what you're doing at that moment in your drawing. It's not about what you're drawing, it's about what you're thinking. So if any of you guys out there, you know, high school kids, college kids, people who are struggling with, you know, attention deficit, anything like that, or if you just have bad habits of, you know, being tied to your phone, or if maybe you have a noisy roommate, whatever your situation is, if you struggle with immersing into your work, this is a pretty good way to do it, I think. And again, this is just one way that I do one thing. I don't draw everything that I do this way. This is just one thing that I pull out of my bag of tricks whenever I have the opportunity. You should always be adding to your bag of tricks. You should actually have many bags of tricks. And you'll find things that work for you. You'll find things that you'll change. You'll find things that you'll drop altogether. You'll find things that replace old things. And yeah, just keep your tools sharp. Yeah, this was actually really good for me because my tools had gotten rather dull and I needed to do a little bit of house cleaning in my brain. Another thing that's really helpful, three-dimensional drawing, it's draw everything as if you can see through it. Like, don't just draw a lot. You're not drawing lines, you're drawing mass. Always remember, you're not drawing lines, you're drawing mass. So whenever you start to draw a surface, always sort of have in the back of your mind, what's directly behind it? What's the curvature like on the other side of this object that I'm drawing? And you'll get there. You'll get there. The more you do it, the more you look for it, the more you'll see it. And the more you'll see it, the more you'll notice things that aren't there. And that's when magic happens on the paper, because then it's like the drawing starts to draw itself. And when you find that sweet spot, that's when you know, okay, you're getting back in shape. That's when you know you've hit your stride again and you sort of got your mojo back. All right, so now up close, this is sloppy. Sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. But you zoom out and it's not about the line work. It's not about the line work at all. For this, it's all about the motion. That's all gesture is. So much in line with the Bridgman method, this is very messy, which is okay because the only thing that matters here is motion. And what started as just me throwing some lines down, like right around here, I built my way around, and before I knew it, I had a skateboarder. I didn't intend to make a skateboarder. I actually had no intentions whatsoever. I was discovering it as I was going along. And don't get hung up on rules. There's no right way to do things. There's only ways. And you gotta try as many ways as possible to find which ones work for you. And the thing is, it's always gonna change. Well, I shouldn't say change, maybe it's gonna evolve as you evolve. All right, everybody, I think that should about do it for today. Thank you for joining me once again. Let me know what you guys think about this tutorial, and let me know if there's any subjects in particular or any roadblocks that you hit that you want me to elaborate on. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit the like button. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and all of your other social media platforms. Also check out my Etsy page. Autograph prints are available for anything that you see me make on this channel. And business inquiries, please contact Susan at the office. That's it. Have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the flip side.